So I remember having a conversation with someone on how to get started with yoga and specifically how to get started with yoga at home. And so I wanted to share some tips that you might find beneficial. So the first tip is to start slow. Don't rush the process. Don't feel that you have to do yoga every single day. And I want to share a couple of apps with you that I used on my journey and one that I continue to use on a regular basis. So the first app is an app called Down Dog, and you can decide how much time you want to do yoga for. So it might be 10 minutes, it might be, I think you can even do 5 minutes, or it might be more than 10 minutes. You can choose the voice of the yoga teacher to guide you through your practice. And you can also choose the style of yoga, and they have descriptions for that so you can know what to choose from. And then also you can put a boost on. So say for example, flexibility, core, and so forth. So it's a really, really excellent starter app. And I'm really glad that I got started with yoga using the app alongside going to in-person classes as well. The other point as well is finding a yoga teacher that you actually gel with. I've experienced so many different kinds of yoga teachers. Some of them have been amazing experiences, some of them haven't. And I think the key thing for me is when you are looking for a yoga teacher, find one that's not focused on perfection, because yoga isn't about perfection. And there are so many different ways to do a yoga pose. You know, we talk a lot about alignment in yoga, but here's the thing, our bodies are all structured differently. And as long as you're in a safe position, you don't need to be perfectly symmetrically aligned, because that's just not how our bodies operate on a day-to-day basis. Say, for example, the right side of my body is where I carry stuff a lot. So there is a difference between those two sides, which is why I wear a rucksack now. Before COVID, I didn't used to wear rucksacks, but after COVID, yep, rucksacks are my friend. So that's the second point. The next point as well is to get yourself set up. So get yourself a mat. You don't necessarily have to have a mat to do yoga, but a mat is good from a grip perspective. And that's the key thing. Find a yoga mat with a really, really good grip. If you go on Amazon, look at the different yoga mats, look at the reviews, and focus on that grip. When I got started, I had a and it didn't have a good grip, which meant that when I was doing certain poses, such as downward facing dog, I was slipping all over the place and it didn't make any sense and it wasn't supportive or productive for my practice. Now, in terms of mats, there are ones that are super, super expensive and that there are ones that are a lot more cost effective. You do not need a super expensive mat. So again, just go back to those core things, one that's grippy. Then also you may want to invest in some props. So for example, I have yoga blocks. So these yoga blocks I've had for a number of years now. I cannot remember the year that I bought them. I bought them from Amazon, but I've had them for years. Super, super great quality, and they're still in excellent condition. I have no reason to replace these at all unless something dramatically bad happens to them, and nothing bad has happened to them yet. Then also you may want to invest in a yoga strap. I got this one from Amazon as well. You may have seen me use it in a number of different videos. If you do not want to invest in a yoga strap, it's all good. You want to use a belt, which is another option for you. But just make sure it's one that's long enough, because there are various different poses where it needs to be of a certain length to be able to support you to get into those poses. And then there is a bolster. So restorative yoga, for example, you can use a bolster, but again, you don't have to buy a bolster. You can actually use like a cushion or a pillow for certain poses as well. So there's always different options that you can use. The next point as well is, well, what do you wear for yoga? That's a question that I get asked as well. And look, it's completely up to you. You don't need to go out there and buy, a ton of new workout gear or have specific workout gear for it. Buy and wear what is comfortable to you. Sometimes I wear nothing for yoga, okay? I'm in the comfort of my own home. It's all good. Then there are times when I might be in workout gear, I might be in a pair of shorts, you know, a sports bra, whatever the case is, and my headscarf. I don't show up like that for my videos, but anyway, you know, so don't make a big deal or fuss out of it. The key thing is to just be and feel comfortable. Now, I wanted to touch on Inner Dimension because that's not an app that I spoke about, and I am not an ambassador or anything for them. But the Inner Dimension app is one which is absolutely amazing. They've got tons and tons of different programs on there. For example, they have 2 programs, 108 days of yoga. I've done both of them. Super, super intense, but I have to admit, by the end of those programs, I felt so much more stronger and so much more flexible and better within my practice. Then they've got one 45 days of yoga, which I done earlier this year. And that was amazing in terms of connecting with myself and being able to connect with my practice. And that was 45 minutes per day. The 108 days of yoga, that's like 60 minutes for each class. And then there are add-ons in all of their programs as well. So say, for example, after you do a class, you can then do meditation, breath work, and so on. But it's definitely a brilliant app to be able to tap into if yoga is something that you feel is a thing for you and you want that variety and variation for it. Then also the other point that I would point out is don't allow yourself to be discouraged or feel that yoga's not for you based on what you may see on Instagram, what you may see on YouTube, what you may see on TikTok. For example, you see a lot of stuff where people are putting themselves into shapes of pretzels, doing headstands and all that kind of jazz, and that's awesome. It's beautiful. But here's the thing, that's not the true definition of yoga. You know, being able to get yourself into fancy poses is not the definition of yoga. What is at the core of yoga is being able to have that connection with yourself, being able to connect with your breath, your mind, and your body, nobody else's. So as you go through your yoga journey, don't allow yourself to be discouraged or put off or even compare yourself to others, because we are all different. We all have different levels of strength. We all have different levels of experience, and we're coming in at different stages as well. So I hope that those tips will benefit you on your journey. If you've got any questions or queries, please feel free to drop them in the comments, or feel free to reach out and DM me on places like Instagram, or sign up to my mailing list and you can connect with me there directly. So as always, continue to feel, explore, and connect with your body. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you are not subscribed yet. Thank you so much for taking the time out to watch this video.